We home. So right into it. Okay. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before we start, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash. The ones to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shalom to Yuakim, Yuakwaf tuning in. And we're going to go right into it. And I'm pretty sure y'all already know the reason why we're going into this topic. That's pretty much been the hot topic of the week, ever since that encounter with the Sakari. When you got men, boasting themselves in these last days, of their own self-righteousness. And the attitude of the wicked scribes and Pharisees was that their righteousness was of the law. Yahweh Shai had to point them out on their hypocrisy. All right, you're not keeping all the law. Even if you wanted to keep all the law, you're not doing it. You can't. That's why we have to be changed. If the law could save you, there would be no need for us to have to change. There would be no need for the new covenant, and there would have been no need for Yahweh Shai to offer himself on that cross.
We were saved by the law. We all be dead. Really?
And we were judged on
And we were judged by the law. And if somebody can get that in Hebrews 10, where it talks about he who transgressed at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses receive no mercy. Get that for me real quick. And there's so many laws contained in the Torah, the Torah, 613 of them. There's a lot of them that you can't even keep just in this society alone, because Esau will more than likely, criminalize you. It's unlawful in this man's society to keep your law.
Yeah.
That's why you have to be sovereign in order to do these things.
And we're not sovereign.
And we're not sovereign. That's why we have to rehearse the righteous acts in the land of drawn waters, captivity. You see? Somebody found that? I think it's Hebrews 10 and was it like 27, 28?
At the end,
Hebrews 10 like 27 or 8.
Oh, Salaki. Yeah, I got it.
I got it. Oh, go ahead. 26.
Yep. Here's the kind. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26. It says, "For if we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins."
And that's under Yahweh Shai.
Yep.
When you pretty much, transgress and you walk back into the world, you draw back to a perdition. When you, like the Lord said in Luke 9:62, he that putteth his hand to the plow and looketh back is not fit for the kingdom. So the moment you draw back, because you love this present world like demons did, there's no more sacrifice for your sins. Yahweh Shai no longer fills your void. He doesn't clear you. You're not in the clear. Go ahead.
It says, verse 27, "But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries."
Yeah, pretty much. As soon as you abandon Yahweh Shai and serving, in the ministry, all you have to look forward to after that is missile fire. You're going to get automatically cremated. Yahweh Shai is going to say, "Depart from me, I never knew you, you that worker of iniquity." All right, go ahead.
It says, he that despised Moses' law.
Now here's the point.
Yep, 28.
Uh-huh.
He that despised Moses' law died without mercy.
He died without mercy.
Under 2 or 3 witnesses.
Under the first covenant, you died without mercy, man. If you sinned a certain sin, and you was liable, to be put to death, it was a sin, a sin unto death. According to 2 or 3 witnesses, your ass is done.
Yeah.
And guess what? Being in Babylon and being foreign to the law and not knowing these things, being ignorant of that, we've been guilty of some of these things. So just imagine, if we didn't have the the short mercies of David.
Yeah, one example.
We didn't have the grace.
Mary Magdalene. Man.
Yep.
When the priest was, basically, it was a scribe, it was Pharisees, wicked Pharisees, was trying to basically get her, stone her or whatever for adultery.
Yeah.
I was shocked, came and hey, he basically pardoned Mary Magdalene and basically wrote the sins down and the sins of the wicked scribes and Pharisees down in the sand, man, and convicted them all, man.
And what did he say? He said, "He that is without sin cast the first stone." He was the only one right there that could do that.
So I was shocked, he was the embodiment of mercy, man.
That's right. What he said, that you omit the weightier matters from Matthew 23rd chapter. He was like mercy, judgment, and sin, wasn't it? Mercy, judgment, and faith. I believe it was. Yep. Continue to read. It says, 29, of how much sorer punishment suppose ye, that ye be thought worthy, who have trodden underfoot the Son of the Most High, and have counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, that have done despite unto the Spirit of grace.
Yeah, man. A lot of you dudes, you take Yahweh Shai sacrifice lightly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you try to exalt the law, which he was the embodiment of the law. When you try to exalt your righteousness being of the law and not of Yahweh Shai, you pretty much make light of his sacrifice. You understand what he did with that? With that sacrifice, man?
That was lawful for him to be the sacrifice for us.
Yeah.
Hey, because if the Most High didn't add in there the sacrifices where you can sacrifice to atone for your sins within the scriptures, man, we die instantly, man, pretty much.
Because we understand that the blood, when blood is shed, that also establishes like a covenant, but blood has to be shed. So with Yahweh,
sacrifice has to be made.
The sacrifice has to be made. That's why in the Old Testament, or back in the ancient days, Jake needed that blood in order to be basically clean again of the sacrifice, whether it was a he goat, whether it was a turtle dove, so forth and so on. Yeah, lamb without blemish. Hey, but Jake ain't doing that now.
No, right.
Because where do you find if everything on the earth is defiled, from water to the air, how you find any animal that's not defiled?
Jake ain't about to raise no lamb or no goat.
Bro.
Who gonna wrestle a goat to the altar? You know what I mean? In these days, like Peter ain't gonna get you.
Bro.
You know what I mean? Esau got things set up where you can't do that.
Yeah, but like your brother alluded to earlier, to do these things, you would have to be sovereign.
Mm-hmm.
We would have our own land, under where we could perform our own rule, our own law, and we don't have that.
Let me mention something real quick. I saw, I was in the truth when I saw before the truth and after. There was an episode of Law and Order that were, it was a Jake, but he was like Jamaican or Levi or something. I forgot what he was, but he was practicing sacrifice.
Like doing voodoo.
Like he was basically doing voodoo, but that was part of his religion. Yeah. And they was coming down on him because he was chickens and goats and They was like, nah, he's killing people. And then they kept finding blood and stuff. They was hunting him down. But just showed you how they would hunt you down if you went to do those type of things. They don't care about your religion.
And I found I looked up how much is a goat. Because I just because it matters to Jake who say it's all about the law, right? So it says from $75 to $1,000, right? But it says for $500 for a registered purebred miniature goat. But these goats now they're crossbred, and on top of that they're shot up with those different hormones, because mini goats that's like new.
Mm-hmm.
So that means what? That's not a pure goat.
That's not a pure goat.
So it's gonna cost $1,000 for the best goat that's not pure.
That's not pure.
Yeah, that's not pure.
Right.
So is Jay gonna be spending $1,000 every time they go off? Because at that, I mean, come on, man, you're playing games.
can't even afford to go off.
Bro,
Yes, I'm saying.
Under the old covenant, you can't even afford to go off.
Hey,
God,
that's
bro.
what, who was that talking about that? It was a while back. It was like, no, it was I think it was Elder Yashwan, but he was like when it said when the scripture says a man cared for
Life of his animal.
the life of his beast or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Who really want to sit up there and just be killing all the animals like that?
Yeah.
Not only that you love the animals, generally, but that's costing you.
Mhm.
You just want to keep spending all this so you can go pop somebody else, woman, or whatever.
Well, yeah, there was no sacrifice for those.
No, but I'm trying to think of something,
God, God.
for something, man. Nobody want to do that because you like pork or whatever,
Mm.
Nobody want to do all that.
Yeah.
Spending all that money. You want me to keep reading that? Or
No, that was the point.
Yeah.
That was the point. If somebody can go to Romans 10 and 5, and somebody can get that in Romans 3.
Romans 10:5, it says, for Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law,
Mm-hmm.
that the man which doeth those things shall live by them.
For the man that doeth them shall live by them. Right?
Yeah.
Now let's go to Galatians 3 and 10, and then we're gonna go to Romans 3.
I got a
Galatians
quick
3
real
and 10.
quick. Oh, sure. James 2 and 10. For whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all.
And I always said this, man, years ago, because we used to get into disputes over this whole matter with the IUIC and also even One Body, because they pretty much teach a similar doctrine.
That's Sakari.
Sakari. If we was to go down a list of commandments in the Torah, and every law that you're not keeping or can't keep or that you're breaking, if you was to snip a fringe for each one, half this garment, it would be missing with fringes. It would be missing fringes. You think the Heavenly Father will be acceptable of that?
Right. You have 2-3 fringes left on your garment.
Yeah. So, but you boasting like, well, shit, at least I got like 10. I got like 10 of them left. So I'm keeping it. No.
I'm keeping more than him.
Yeah.
Most time, but you offending all the rest.
You still don't have to read it.
Yep.
Yeah.
See?
There's Galatians 3 and 10. For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them.
But Yahweh Shah was the one who took that curse from us.
Yeah.
Pursuant to Galatians, the 4th chapter. So now, when if we committed iniquity, we don't get put to death immediately for it.
Right.
We have grace now, where after you do commit a sin, you acknowledge it and you repent, you turn from it. That's where the grace comes in.
And you need that period to figure out that you went off.
Yeah.
It needs to hit you in the spirit, because it's not instant. Sometimes people make mistakes and don't realize they made it.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's time for you to be like, dang, did I just go off?
Mm-hmm.
And so as you search yourself, and then you I did. You search the law, you realize it. That's a time period. But if you didn't have that time period, instant death, man.
This is the reason why every year we still have to keep the Day of Atonement.
There you go.
What are you atoning for if you're already perfect in the law?
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though Yahweh Shai ultimately is he's our atonement.
Yeah.
But you're still atoning for your transgression because you're acknowledging that you still sin, that you go off.
But like the brother said earlier, it's spiritual.
It's all spiritual.
If you're if the spirit is dealing with you, you're constantly contemplating these things, the law. Am I living a righteous life? Am I doing this right? Am I, you're checking yourself on everything you do in your walk in life. Once you come into the truth,
Right.
A nigga that's just out there doing what he's not thinking of the law. He's not contemplating these things when he goes off, or he don't even know if he's going off, because it's like the brother said, it's spiritual. It's something that, like, the spirit of the Lord really got to be in you to, okay, damn, am I doing this right? Did I, am I going off? And you basically you checking yourself every day.
Right.
You know.
I gotta hit this, bro.
That's my
You got one. You got it first.
Is 11. But no man is justified by the law in the sight of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them.
There it is.
Yep. Sure. This is Romans 7. This chapter, though, I might have to read quite a bit.
Yeah, I went into it in the lesson that I recently did too.
This chapter.
Also, Paul, he was real transparent about, like, yo, I naturally sin. Like, it's just in me. It's beyond my control.
That's the one I read. It's not sin. That's
Yeah. I'm gonna start at verse 5. Romans chapter 7, verse 5 says, "For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sins were by the law, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But now we are delivered from the law, that being, what did he say? What was that in? I can't think of it. James? I can't think of exactly what it said. He said the knowledge of the law brought forth sin. The knowledge of sin is through the law. Because I know the law. Now I know where sin is at to cross that line. You know, so you boasting about the law, there's no ignorance in sin now. You know. Anyway, it says, "For now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit and not in the oldness of the letter." Right? What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Yahweh forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, "Thou shalt not covet." But sin taketh occasion by the commandment wrought in me.
And going back before the time of Moses, the law was pretty much oral. It was orally passed down, you know, traditionally through the generations. So that's how the sons of God was able to keep it. But because of our evil, impulsive nature about ourselves, we constantly have to remind ourselves or have something to look at to keep us grounded, keep us, you know, following boundaries.
I'll give you an example of the law.
Like rules, basically.
The law being oral before we actually had the law given to us, you know, by Moses, was when Noah was naked, and his and Ham, you know, was laughing at him, looking upon his nakedness, while the other two brothers, Shem and Japheth, they covered him. They walked backwards and covered him, knowing that in our law, before it was written, you're not supposed to look on a man's nakedness. And so it was like the brother said, it was oral, you know, back then.
But we had it.
Yeah, even was it Pharaoh when he was about to sleep with one of Abraham's wife,
You trying to give me a good dog?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Even the heathens, you know, knew to a certain degree, you know.
Yeah. You know, so that lets you know that later down the line, the Lord, because of our the stoniness of our heart, he had to basically write it upon actual stone.
You
know, because Jake, if they go a while without having boundaries and rules to go by, Jake is just gonna follow whatever their flesh tells him to do.
Hey, I forgot who says it. Jake is a habitual line stepper, man. Jake naturally do that. If you ain't pointing out where the boundary is at, Jake gonna step over it routinely. Just, you know, Jake gonna see how far they can go. You learn that from a kid that's what Jake do. Kids do that, let alone by the time they get adult and can premeditate it, you know. That's why the Most High had to get rid of sacrifices, because Jake was premeditating, trying to cross that line still.
Jake was, you know, the thing with Jake is always trying to find a loophole, trying to find a gray area where that's what Jake's doing in the truth.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Let me find a gray area where I could wear a fitted cap to camp. You know, or I could wear dreads, or
I know y'all saw that. With Sakari.
Yeah.
They tried to use they tried to go to Leviticus 10
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, what the hell do the priesthood have to do with praying and prophesying? Why would you go to something based on dealing with the priesthood to justify what you should be doing when you're praying and prophesying? That's two unrelated situations.
And this brother went into it where the background of the story and why they had well, it wasn't even about covenant.
It wasn't about literally putting stuff over your head or a veil over your head.
It was about
when you look into the actual law. This is when Aaron's sons, it pretty much was on some willful shit. They was trying to do what the hell they wanted to do, and there was an offering of strange incense to the Lord that made the Heavenly Father put him to death.
It was
numbers. Was Abihu and Nadab. Nadab and Abihu. They both was doing what the hell they wanted to do, and they were the sons of Aaron, so they were part of that priesthood. You gotta be on point when dealing with the priesthood. So they did what they did, and the Most High put them to death, and the Lord pretty much gave the commandment to Aaron and his his other sons, like, yo, yeah, don't. When you, I know this is gonna be grievous for you because this is a death in the family. But don't mourn too hard for them. They got what they got. They went off.
Yeah.
So do not rend your clothes. Don't rend your garments, and do not mess with your head. Matter of fact, keep your hair groomed. Keep it combed out. You know, keep it kept.
So that's what they tried to use.
So they tried to use that to say you can cover your head when you prophesy and praying.
I believe Alazar knows the truth of that.
Yeah.
Could have cleaned that up. I believe he knows the real understanding of that. Him and the deep.
I got a precept real quick. This is to go with what you were speaking of. Sirach 32 and 17, excuse me. A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will.
Yeah, it is, man.
We always read the one in Proverbs, particularly about the head of that camp, the high chief or whatever you call himself.
Chief high priest.
Yeah.
Chief priest.
Proverbs 29, he being often reproved, hard to understand. It's hard, what it say is in that without remedy
shall be destroyed,
but in that without remedy. Hey man, this dude gets rebuked by us so much, that he just keep bucking up. I mean, but it's funny because he it's like he see it and he be like, yeah, I am going on. He'll repent, as far as what we see or what he say anyway. But he just keep doing stuff. But he got to give that resistance.
He's that rebellious children.
Yeah.
Rebellious.
Rebel every time. He don't like to be told that.
And he's mastered the loophole.
Oh yeah.
Knowing how to pull loopholes for himself
Yeah.
to justify everything that he do. He's that dude mastered that.
I'm a Levite.
That's why you got to know the scriptures to deal with them type of.
I'm a Levite.
What's the other one? I'm
Nazarite. Yeah. It's like when you what we're about to go into. If you go into the strict laws that the Levites had to keep, man, you will be you going off probably every time you step out your house. Let alone being in music videos and doing all the other
boasting, just being proud as hell. There's no reason. There's no room for boasting or pride on no level. All right, we're still in the eyes of the Lord. If it wasn't for Yahweh Shai, man, we'd be done. We'd be our eyes will be grass, man. You should be humble.
Because let back off of what you were saying as well. Because even for a Levite, before they could offer up the sins or offer up the sacrifice for the nation, they themselves had to be clean.
Yeah, they have to clean themselves.
They had to separate themselves and get clean before they could actually sacrifice the atonement for the nation of Israel. Man.
But you saying that they Levites, so what did Yahweh Shai come to do? What was the Hebrews 8 say about the priesthood was expanded to all the tribes?
Right.
So y'all saying Yahweh Shai is going on?
No,
what did they say?
They don't say that, but what they saying is the Levitical priesthood is still in effect, and they'll go to like Ezekiel, the 44th chapter,
No,
about the
order
new
of
temple and all that other
Melchizedek,
stuff.
Hebrews
Huh?
5, 6, 7
Yeah.
explains the whole breakdown.
Yeah. Which
You
is a
know?
way better
Yeah,
priesthood.
and that's why he said it in the 8th chapter. A better,
Built on
better ministry is established on better purposes.
Uh-huh.
We ain't got to be perfect in the law, but our faith makes us perform it.
Right.
You know.
And then the sacrifices we give is through Yahushua.
Right.
It's gonna be accepted if it's coming through His Son.
That's right.
You know.
Because the Most High made the deal with us to be perfect.
Come.
Yeah.
How Shai made the deal with us to be through faith. You know.
And through our imperfections.
That's right.
He was the mediator.
That's right.
Yeah, it is.
Y'all good? Because I want to go back into the second, then we can hit the laws.
Yeah.
Romans.
No, we still got to get Romans 3 as well.
Okay, kind of. I'll read through a little faster. Verse 8. This is Romans chapter 7, verse 8. But sin taking occasion by the commandment brought in me all manner of concupiscence. Concupiscence. Yeah, I wrote that. It says, for without the law, sin was dead. That's why, was it the second chapter in Corinthians, or it might be Romans 2, but it said, for those that are without the law do the things contained in the law or belong to themselves, showing that they're still within that fold of the spirit of it. Okay, anyway, it says, for I was alive, for I was alive once, verse 9 says, for I was alive without the law, but when the commandment came, sin revived, and I died. And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death. So as much as the law gave you life, it really was just there to condemn you because we couldn't keep it perfectly. Because of ours, not because of imperfections in the law, but because of our stony heart, the way we were. That's why we have to, like you said, have to have those new bodies. It says, for sin taking occasion by the commandment deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good.
See, the law is perfect. The law itself is good. It's perfect.
Yeah. It was says that in what Hebrews 8, where it was the people. The law is perfect, but the people.
The Lord found fault with us. That was who He found fault with. We were the problem, not the law. That's why it says in Galatians 3 and 21, if life would have, if righteousness of the law would have gave us life, then barely it would have been by the law. But we're sold unto sin. We're carnal, sold under sin. So, of course, the law can't save us. We got to be saved from ourselves before we can even keep the law.
And what did Apostle Bar always say? Our worst enemy is ourselves. Because we condemn ourselves with the things we do, and the things that our flesh lead us, by following the flesh, and the flesh leads us to sin.
We're born with that sinful nature already into us. The moment that we're born. That's why it says a man that is born of a woman is a few days are full of trouble.
Because he's just under them curses because he can't keep the law perfect.
Oh, real quick, let me get this real quick, and then we go right back. Sirach 17 and 16, it says, every man from his youth is given to evil, neither could they make to themselves fleshly hearts for stoning.
You can't change yourself to be able to keep it perfectly.
And who was able to keep the law perfect? Yahushua, right?
That's right.
Why? Because he was born of the spirit. He was able to walk in the spirit. We're in the flesh. So I'm gonna read Galatians 5 and 6:16, and it's going to explain why we can't keep the law 100%. This is Galatians 5 and 16.
Because when you read Salaki, real quick, when you read that, what was Paul writing that letter to about? Y'all can't be condemning everybody, man. You got to give them.
Yeah, it was foolish Galatians, because they was hearing with them self-righteous, Pharisees that, they was coming up in the truth or whatever. They believe Yahushua, but they were being told that, but you got to keep the law though. You got to keep it to the standard of you know, lawyers and
Yeah.
you know, perfectly.
Yep.
And he was like,
You can't.
who done bewitched y'all? Who put this in y'all ear?
Yep.
You know, you foolish Galatians.
Mhm.
You know, go ahead.
Galatians 5 and 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh.
Mhm.
And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
That's the real condition of the battle.
Yeah.
To allow your spirit to be at the forefront and your flesh to take the back seat.
And until we are programmed with those laws and commandments in us, we won't be able to walk in the spirit. We'll still be in the flesh.
Yep.
So
No, I mean,
we have the
we have the
spirit,
spirit.
but you know, I mean,
We won't be able
100%.
to
Yeah,
perform
yeah,
the
right.
spiritual things.
That's why he breaks it down perfectly in that chapter.
Yeah.
He was in the spirit,
Yeah. Mhm.
but just because the spirit is on you and you're minding the things of the spirit, that doesn't mean that you're not gonna slip in the flesh.
Yeah, it's coming up.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
That's why the book of Jude said, chains of darkness, man.
Yep.
These bodies are chains of darkness, man.
Mhm.
You know? So Yahweh Shai's sacrifice only covers the elect, you know, because he's gonna come back and save the elect.
Mhm.
You know, the rest of you guys, man,
You're gonna get condemned.
you're done, man. Yahweh Shai blood don't cover you, man. Not on this side, man. You know?
That was more.
I read 18. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. And then it goes, you know, all to those, you know, the things that
Members, the flesh.
Yeah, kind of
Went to the flesh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Back in verse 13 now, it says, verse 12 says, wherefore the law is holy and the commandment holy and just and good. Was that then which is good made death unto me?
Mhm.
Yahweh forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, the sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Mhm.
For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not.
Mhm.
But what I hate, that I do.
Yeah, he's basically saying, I don't even understand myself. Like, why am I this way?
Mhm.
I want to do the right thing. My spirit tells me to do the right thing, but my flesh is like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, like it'll be a time where you want to do something like fast and read. You want to do spiritual things, but then your flesh is like, nah, nigga, you need to eat something.
Yeah.
Don't you got a taste for that right there?
Yeah.
Don't read. You know,
Yeah.
go watch the highlights or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's what your flesh is telling you versus what your spirit is. And sometimes you're gonna have those days when your flesh is trying to pull you away from the spirit, man. You got to acknowledge that. Hey, that's being in the spirit just to acknowledge that.
Mhm.
That's part of the fight.
Yeah, and the acknowledgement of it is like they say, you're acknowledging of a problem is the first step to fixing the problem. I forgot how that saying goes. But that's the same thing here. Because you can't beat it off the top. We need Yahweh Shai to beat it.
Mhm.
You know, so we gonna continually misstep in this thing. But acknowledging it and trying to repent from it or ask for forgiveness for the things that you can't repent from, yeah, man, that's what you do.
Yeah, quick one.
Mhm.
Isaiah 64:6. But we are all as unclean thing, and our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away.
Yeah.
That's plain. Go back.
Yeah, it says, verse 16, it says, if then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then, it is no more that, so like no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
Hmm.
For I know that in me,
And when you know when you're doing wrong, but you acknowledge that you're doing it wrong because the law says you're doing wrong, then that shows that as far as your conscience, your spirit knows that the law is correct.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
that's just how it is. Your spirit knows that it's right. The law is right.
Even Jake in the world, when they do shit or go
Yeah.
off, there's something in them. It says people have a zeal
But not according to God.
according to knowledge. They know it's like, yo, that
Your
was
conscience.
conscience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other thing that they use now more so is karma.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Damn, karma. That's what I get. But it was something that you fucked up with that now you
Yeah.
know that karma's gonna come back.
Now
And that's the balance of
Yeah.
how the spirit
Yeah,
works to condemn you for those things that you came short of the law.
You're dealing with the consequences
Yep.
of whatever you
Mhm.
might have did.
It says, verse 18. No, I read 18. No, I'm still in 18. It says, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. Yeah, so how do you defeat your flesh so that your spirit can? Because your flesh is actually in the battle.
In this, and you think about that, what you just said, in this current society,
Yeah.
it ain't like we just living on a farm somewhere and we out, where we don't see all the wickedness and have to deal with the bullshit every day. We're in the midst. Yeah.
This is the most wickedest kingdom
Yeah.
that's ever been born.
The scripture said we walk in the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah, we're right in the thick of it every day.
Yeah.
You got some wicked shit in your face at your job, go to the grocery store, everything that you do. We could just stand on a street corner and see all the wickedness, whether it be fast food, the cars driving by, polluting the air. It's just right there in your face.
And under the law, you're supposed to do something about it.
Yeah,
Right.
You're supposed to do something about that.
Without fixing it.
Yeah, you see a mole at work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You supposed to-
What you gonna do at work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You supposed to keep it.
You see these chicks out here. Oh, don't go to the gym.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
bro.
Do not go to the gym because
You gotta have on
it's just
blinders, man.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. And
You don't know any of them women that's dressed like that. You don't know who they got at home.
Bro.
You don't know if they're wives. You don't know if they got
majority,
husbands.
all of them is married
Most
because
of them they got
lay with
husbands.
somebody.
they lay with somebody. What's the
Bro, on top of that, like you said, if your woman wasn't a virgin when you met her, hey, you're going off, man.
Because the priest, on the first covenant.
Kind. Yeah, kind. In the first covenant, you're going off. Hey, because what the last man, he wasn't like he didn't do no bill of divorcement, or So
put her away.
Yeah, he didn't put her away. And you
You
can't
weren't supposed to do that.
Yeah,
You're supposed to marry them when they put away from their husband.
Hey, and you can't go
Y'all
back to
sure
it.
said that.
Yeah, you're supposed to allow them to be reconciled.
Yeah.
And if you put her away, hey, if you write it that bill of divorcement, the scripture so you say you can't go back to it.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, how many Jacob done that?
And there's supposed to be a threat. When you put a woman away, she be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be out here alone by myself." That's supposed to be the threat to make him go back.
And everyone's gonna know she's been put away because in the ancient world they wore a certain type of attire or a head covering or a garment. Then maybe their eyes weren't covered. I mean, not
Yeah. I'm gonna keep reading. It says, verse 19. Yep. It says, "For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that which I would not, it is no more I that doeth it, but sin that dwelleth in me." Here's a good point. So I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. And that's the difference. The inward man, not the fleshly outward man, but the inward man is who should be guiding you.
Yeah.
Will do the law. On how to keep the law.
And you should want to delight in the inward man because that's the Heavenly Father is who looks upon the inner man. What did he tell Samuel when he was getting ready to anoint who's going to be king?
Yeah,
He
you
said,
look at the things.
You're looking at the things of the outward appearance, but the Lord looks upon the heart.
like verse 16 or 17.
Mhm. And then also there's a scripture in Proverbs where it says the spirit of man is like a candle it's like a candle of the Most High, looking into the inward parts of man.
Yeah, the brother, the elder posted it on the video.
Yeah. Because the Lord, He sees through all the, you can grow the biggest beard on earth. You can have your fringes down to your feet. You can even have the phylacteries. You can do the whole nine.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it with your own intentions and you're not doing it from the heart, you're not serving the Lord in the spirit as you walk in that manner, in that fashion.
You're not sincere.
You're not sincere, and the Lord ain't gonna accept it. You're still not justified. No matter what the hell you're doing. What's going on in your spirit? Is your spirit right with the Most High?
Right. Is it really, you just make a mistake versus trying to...
And will you acknowledge your mistakes?
Right.
Will you humble down to the Lord? Like that, you had that, I think it was a parable being spoken where Yahweh Shah was talking about there was a publican and there was a Pharisee. And they both came in and they made their prayer to the
Tax
Lord.
collector.
It was a tax collector.
Yeah.
And one of them had the attitude of, hey, well, I don't commit adultery, I don't do this, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
the
other one was like, I'm not even
guilty of all this.
Like he didn't even lift his hand.
Yeah, he was hella condemned within himself. And he was the
And
more
the Lord said, which one is more justified?
Yeah. The humble one.
The humble one.
That did all the dirt. Yeah. I got that.
If y'all brothers want to post that scripture, y'all gonna post it. I think it's Luke the 18th chapter, if I'm not mistaken.
I got the one in Proverbs we were talking about.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 20:27. It says, the spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching all the inward parts of the belly.
It is, man.
I'll finish this out because these are good as well. Verse 23. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?
Man. Oh troubled man that I am. Who shall deliver me from these chains of darkness?
Yep. He about to say it actually.
Because hey, you think about it, these bodies are death traps.
Yep.
Because the wages of sin is death.
And that's what
the strength of sin is the law.
And that's what the flesh wants to do.
The only way to escape it is Yahweh Shai.
Through Yahweh Shai.
Exactly.
That's why we're gonna receive everlasting life through Him.
If we don't sin anymore,
you don't have everlasting life through the law of the first covenant. We were drawn to death from that moment on.
I was just gonna say the law is like waiting on you to fuck up.
Yeah.
Versus the life that you're supposed to be having by keeping it perfectly, that we will have because we ain't concerned about. We ain't sitting up there worried about going off as you should be to try to keep the law perfectly, because we're just gonna be good to move according to the Spirit anyway.
Yeah.
This last line, last verse 25 says, I thank Yahweh through Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, our Lord. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of the Most High, but with the flesh, the law of sin. Broke it down right there.
Yeah, it is.
Good thing for Yahweh Shai, it's going to get me out of it. It's going to free me from it.
Basically, he's acknowledging, the outward man is perishing every day.
Yep.
It's going off, catching hell, getting sick. But the inward man, with my mind, I'm serving the Lord. I'm being renewed every day. I'm growing. I'm understanding more,
Yep. And what's funny, the more you practice looking at the law spiritually, the more you can then learn to perform.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that was it.
Now get Romans 3, 3 and 19 and 20, and then jump down to
you got it.
then jump down to was it 29?
31. Do we void the law? That one?
Romans 3 and 19 and 20.
Okay, you got it. This is Romans 3:19. It says, now we know that what things soever the law saith, it saith to them who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped, and all the world may become guilty before the Most High.
and we all be guilty.
Yep.
You know, under the first covenant, we all guilty. Go ahead.
Therefore, we're under the first covenant. Remember, before brothers came into the truth, we were all into Christianity, all type of shit. So, yeah, so we all guilty. You know, so like
It says, therefore, by the deeds of the law, there should no flesh be justified in his sight.
Yeah.
For by the law is knowledge of sin.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking earlier. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna read that same verse in the NLT. It says, "For no one can ever be made right with the Most High by doing what the law commands.
Ooh.
The law simply shows us how sinful we are."
Exactly. It's just condemning us.
Yeah.
The law just condemns us. Now, faith, which will move your spirit to perform things in your flesh,
Yeah.
that's where the more sincere sacrifice that you could, that you're making to, effort you're making to the Most High.
Because this way, it's an act that shows forth that you're trying. And that you believe.
I know I'm fucking up, but guess what? I'm still gonna try to do the right thing.
Right.
While we jump down.
Yeah, you're not taking that grace, that liberty, and using it for an occasion to the flesh.
Right.
You know, you're not gonna further build that debt. You know what I'm saying, that you owe to the Lord.
You're not going into the hamburger stand like, I'm just getting back to this one more time.
Yeah.
I just miss how it tastes.
really you're moving with fear
Yeah, like
Right.
because
you detest the scent of it, the idea of I'm just using bacon as but any of that, but don't for any of it.
the law is wisdom, and the scripture says at the beginning of the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you want me to jump down to 27 or 28?
Jump down to 25 and then read down to
The end.
Yeah.
31, yeah.
This continuing in Romans 3 and 25, it says, whom Yahweh hath set forth to
start at 24.
It says, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Yahweh HaMashiach, whom Yahweh has set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood.
Yep, he freed us from those penalties through that sacrifice. Go ahead.
To declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of the Most High. To declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just and thus justifier of him which believeth in Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
Where is boasting then? It is excluded. By what law? Of works? Nay.
That's the issue that we're talking about. How you gonna boast that y'all? How many years we've been on IUIC about that? About how they boast about the law.
Right.
And then y'all didn't take example. We've been doing that since Elazar and the Hakam was in Great Millstone.
Yep.
So how would y'all add that into y'all doctrine, man? What's wrong with y'all?
Right. They didn't learn this up under the apostles when they was among us. They didn't learn
do
this
that.
shit.
No, man.
Yep.
It says, where is boasting then? It is excluded. By what law or works? Nay, but by the law of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the power of the Jews only? Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also.
The Israelite foreigners.
And that's where that taps into that second chapter. Yeah, that's Romans 2 that I was thinking of. You got it?
Seeing it is one Yahweh power which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
Hey, like the faith of Abraham. Abraham, he performed duties based on his faith, even without the law.
Just
Like he wasn't even circumcised yet, and he did a lot of his works of faith. You know.
that obedience is what, because the Most High said, "Oh, you told me to do this, I'm gonna just do it."
Yeah.
Because I'm with you,
Mm-hmm.
It says, verse 31, do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yeah, we establish the law.
Still established the law.
Because it's still wise, you know, why? Because what you're gonna do, the contrary, then you willfully sinning at that point.
Mhm.
You're supposed to, when you go off and break the law, it's supposed to be out of ignorance or that you just can't keep it.
Right.
And when we get into these laws, you're gonna see, man, that this thing is impossible, especially in this captivity. We need new bodies and new flesh. And real quick, I'll just kind of quote it from 1 Corinthians 15. It says, corruption cannot inherit incorruption.
Kind.
So how are we gonna perform the law perfectly when we got imperfect bodies?
Now, can I bring out this? When we said that, can I bring out the first one?
Yeah, you got it.
This is like going into this is Hebrews 12, and I'll start here at 23. And it reads, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven. Of course, it's going into the elect. It says, and to Yahweh, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. So it means that what? On earth, because the scriptures, when we go into Jude, it tells us that what? The angels that fell from their first estate. So in order for them to be perfect again, they have to be made perfect.
Yeah.
And we understand that perfection doesn't come until what? We were changed, man. In that twinkling of an eye, and what? The law is written within our inward parts.
Right.
So when you go into that word made perfect, it's G5048. And it says to make perfect, complete, to carry through completely, to add what is yet wanting in order to
perfection of the law.
To add what is yet wanting.
That's what was it's like. That was the issue with the first covenant and the initiation of the second covenant, because now we'll be made covenant and we'll be made perfect by what was missing.
Yep.
And what was missing was the imperfections in us to make that law possible, that we can keep it and finally get those blessings that we were promised in the first half of Deuteronomy 28.
Okay. It says to add what is yet wanting in order to render a thing full, which means what? We were lacking, which means we was going off. Because in order to render full, that's complete. Because when we go back into the word perfect, going into to Jacob, the characteristic given unto our forefather, what it says, perfect moral uprightness. That means what? Complete. That's we don't have that right now, man.
Hey, because the Most High, he made the contract clear, man.
Yeah.
If you do all of this, you're gonna be straight. You're gonna be blessed. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. But if you don't keep this whole agreement,
you gotta do it all.
Right. If you don't, if you fuck up anywhere along the lines and tear up, fuck up this agreement we got, hey,
you get all of this.
Yeah. That's why you can't you know, when it's time for you to pay up, you can't slack and remiss, man.
Yeah.
So hey, we owe Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai was like, when he came down, he took on that. He was like, I'll take that tab.
Hey, because he's seen the imperfection where it was at in that agreement. Like, hold on, we need to amend it.
He brought us out of that contract,
man,
bro.
It was a bad deal.
That was like Suge Knight and shit. He brought Israel out of the contract. And he was like, yeah, I'll hey, don't worry about it, you know, because I love y'all. I'm gonna buy y'all out of it, but it's gonna take me dying. I gotta go through this excruciating pain and humiliation. But you're gonna be out of that contract. I'm gonna make a better one. I'm gonna make it better for you.
And that one wasn't bad. It's just y'all wasn't made right.
Yeah, we weren't gonna be able to.
Yeah, y'all wasn't made right.
We weren't gonna make our
didn't
end of
know
the
that.
deal.
Yeah, we can never pay that into the deal under this sinful flesh.
Yep. This is to raise to the state of heavenly blessedness. And we understand what? We don't get those blessings written until we're perfect. Exactly, bro. Exactly. It also says to bring to a close or fulfillment by event.
It is. Hey, that's of the nine, man.
Because Yahweh Shai, he already fulfilled it. You know? That was it.
Yes.
We gotta read that up.
This is Hebrews 7 and 20. What's that? 20. Yeah, 19. Hebrews 7 and 19, and it reads, for the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai.
What was the better hope? The hope to keep the expectation that Yahushai gave us of being able to perfect it by Him showing that it could be done in the flesh perfectly.
Yep.
But it took a special spirit to perform it. That's the difference, man. We didn't have that. We wasn't created with that type of spirit that could keep our flesh on a certain level, on a perfect level, should I say, to perform the law like He could. So He showed that flesh could do it, but it took a special spirit, and that's what we're gonna get to make us complete when it's written in us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? It's like trying to beat a video game without the cheat code. You need the cheat code for some of these games.
Real quick, Romans 8:3, it says, "For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, the Most High sending His own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh."
You see that in the likeness of sinful flesh, because He didn't really have that. He was different.
And for sin condemned sin in the flesh. And it says that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
To show that the law was righteous. It was always righteous. Like the brother said earlier, it was the people.
And we was caught up starry-eyed with the law. Like, oh, we gonna get all of that? You know how Jake be like, man, I can get all of that. And yeah, that's what I want. Now realizing I can't even keep this deal. I can't make these payments. You know what I mean? I can't. Yeah, I want that Maybach. I want that. What's the new car everybody love?
Tesla.
Not the Phantom or what? I don't know. One of the new cars that Jake be wanting in this life, right? Yeah, but you can't make them payments. You know, that's the way I was in this, man. Yeah, you think you're gonna ride nice in it, but you never actually get to that.
Yeah, so that was it. That was it on that. Now let's just go into some laws. And we,
brother got the list.
You got a list. Let's go into the list.
You know what? And the brother had talking about the Nazarites. They said the Nazarites can't drink wine.
Yeah. We was talking about that.
They can't eat grapes.
Can't eat nothing.
Can't eat raisins
regarding like anything associated with the grape.
Can't get no haircut. None of that. That was funny. Back then, we thought, I'm just said that when we thought he was just trying to keep his hair. But he was like, no, I'm a Nazarite. That's why I don't have to cut my hair. Like, but do you, possibly asking, but do you keep the Passover? Do you keep the Passover and drink the blood of Yahushua at the Passover?
I got the laws on the Nazarites.
That's PDF. Bro.
All right, this is basically 613 laws.
We get the ones that are like we can't keep on this side.
Okay. You want me to read the Nazarites or?
You might as well since brothers mentioned it.
All right, this under the category of Nazarite laws.
And none of us are under the Nazarite vow, by the way, so we in the clear on this one.
All right, they got a list of number 588. That a Nazarite shall not drink wine or anything mixed with wine which tastes like wine, even if the wine or the mixture has turned sour, is prohibited to him. Number 6 and 3.
I'm not gonna condemn Elazar on that, but remember he was like, "Oh, with honey wine." He was like, "Bro,
that's not.
That just,
bro."
It was like, we try not to condemn him on the technicalities, but why you?
But they're condemning people on the technicality.
Yeah, now I'm saying back then.
Right.
Yeah.
We can sweat you if you sweating us about the fringe, not having the fringes on all our clothes. We can sweat you about this.
Yeah.
You're supposed to keep the Passover. It requires the blood of the grape.
Yep.
There's no way around that. So what are you still doing with the ponytail?
Can't drink Henny.
Can't drink no Henny. You know they got plenty of Henny. That whole camp drink Henny. Come on, bro.
God, bro.
They still involved in nigga culture. They try to integrate it with Hebrew culture, but hey, you know they drink Henny, man. Go ahead.
589, that he shall not eat fresh grapes. Number 6 and 3. That he shall not eat dried grapes, which are raisins. Number 6 and 3. That he shall not eat kernels of the grapes. Number 6 and 4.
can't even cook with grapeseed oil.
Yeah, done. Or eat grape leaves.
And then there might be certain restaurants that you go to that might use grapeseed oil.
Keep
Are you back there
Mediterranean.
checking to see what oils that they're using to cook your food?
Right. And you worried about lard, you gotta worry about grapeseed.
You know what I mean?
It's just and this is kind of comical, but hey man, stop being petty. And we won't have to be petty, but we're trying to show you it's a bigger picture to this, man.
That's right.
That's the point. This is a bigger picture to what we're really trying to accomplish. You're trying to do the impossible.
This was all just a shadow to come.
Right.
The law was pretty much just a shadow of what's going to come for us as a nation, man. Right.
Oh, what you just said.
Correct.
You're correct, bro.
There's Leviticus 11 and 34, and it reads, of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean, and all drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. So when you go to the list, it tells us, it's number 562. It says, foods become defiled by contact with unclean things. So that's really
So
at every restaurant.
that's pretty, any restaurant, you're pretty much getting unclean. You eating at any restaurant, you're probably gonna be unclean. All the dishes, like if you're going to dine and eat, all the dishes, it's recycled. You eat out of it. The waiter, the waitress come and take it. They take it to the disher in the kitchen.
Yeah.
They wash it or whatever, put it up, and they use it again.
Even the
All
grill.
the utensils.
The grill.
The grill.
Yeah, if you cook, is it pork on a grill?
Yeah.
You gotta throw the whole stove out.
Yeah.
You know?
That's in that same chapter.
Yeah.
Leviticus.
So you're gonna throw your whole stove out?
Right. The pans
I'm gonna be
that you
all
cook it in, you gotta break it and toss it.
I'm calling it petty, but I'm gonna be hella petty right now. Like you don't know if the cook, his woman was on her thing. He ain't even, just being in the same dwelling. And he ain't, he ain't touched her or defiled directly, but indirectly. So now everything he touched is defiled directly until that sun go down.
Be a woman back there on her thing.
I went even further. His woman at the house, or a woman that sat in the seat before him at the bus. Like,
You think she calling out? You think she calling out to her job, to her manager that I'm on my cycle, so I can't come in.
Right. Are they sleeping
Ain't nothing like that happening.
sleeping in separate rooms?
Mhm.
You got, when you got a family and you don't got it,
She
man.
came to the front door, bro. It's late. But let me be fair about that until that sun go down. But it has to be washed.
Right.
And then when the sun go down. When you read in Leviticus 15, it's when the sun goes down. I mean, this is how strict it is. That's why you can't go by this, bro. It's too much. Brother, this is one little angle of the law we're talking about here. We ain't even hit. This is just food. But Nazarites can't do.
Because speaking on the contact thing too, something as simple as you going to fill up your car for gas. You don't know who else touched that gas pump. It could be, like you said, it could be a woman that's on her.
You gotta sit at the gas station, wait for the sun to go down. You gotta watch it at the pump, make sure nobody touches you. But don't let nobody on the other side touch you. Come on, man. Come on.
Right. And speaking back on the Nazarite vow, if you eat at any Mediterranean spot, hey, then you're going on, because all of them provide that food called doma, DOLMA, which is basically the grape leaves that's wrapped, the rice and the meat wrapped in the grape leaves. They all have that.
Yeah.
What do they say about meat sacrificed? And, we don't know.
Farm this came off.
Exactly.
Yep.
Whoever, when we go back to the law now, right?
Yeah. He got the list of laws, and also brothers are posting some on here too. There was another one I was definitely gonna bring up about the Sabbath day. The law is strict on the Sabbath day. You read the account where the man he picked up sticks on the Sabbath day.
Oh yeah.
And that was the reason why the Lord said, "All right, y'all put fringes on your car." I'll real quick, I'll read it. This is Paratham Ban Yahweh, Exodus 31:14. It says, "Ye shall keep the Sabbath Therefore, for it is holy unto you, everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein shall be cut off from among his people.
You be doing this captivity, bro.
Bruh.
You gonna tell your boss, yo, I can't work today.
Yeah.
And
not only that, but my Sabbath day comes in based on the new moon.
It's gonna change.
It's gonna change.
Every month.
So you can create your own
All
off
day.
schedule to your manager, your boss.
And you want a final warning at work.
Right.
What you gonna do?
Right.
But you need this job to provide for your family. Come
Yeah.
on,
So you don't get put out your house and shit.
I'm gonna tell you what I actually tried. I said, yeah. He said, anything else? You know, any certain days you can't work? I was like, well, honestly, Saturdays I do a Bible study. So he was like, I think God will be all right with that. I was like, dang. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'll be all right. I think he'll be all right with that. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna see if he was gonna let me get off every Saturday. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, forget about that.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. It says 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh it is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death.
But then Yahushua said, if a man, if a sheep fell into a ditch, wouldn't he not dig him out and rejoice? Once he got him out,
Yep.
he would leave the 90. That's going to another one, but he would rejoice that he just went off from the law.
He destroyed them on
Pharisees.
the scribes and Pharisees about the Sabbath day.
Yep.
You're like, technically, the priests have to profane the Sabbath because you got to kindle a fire,
Yep.
fire up the lamps in the tabernacle to the Sabbath day. Every Sabbath day, that's the service of the priest.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What you gonna do?
He talked about the showbread that David ate. That was only was offered for the priest to eat.
They were faint in the fields.
Yeah.
What about I was just reading, it said you're supposed to put a false prophet there.
Oh yeah, that too.
So all those rap news followers or people that's coming under him, you gonna go put them to death?
And look, you teaching that with the type of leaders you have in your organization, they'll go be hunting people down, man. Tripping. Yeah.
McNeil still read right?
Yeah, I was looking for
Something else.
I wanted to find the law where it's talking about the roof. Deuteronomy 22nd chapter.
Oh yeah. On the rooftop.
Yeah.
Okay, you're supposed to have it.
Yeah. I'll read. Y'all brothers, y'all want to keep them coming. Y'all want to post some laws. Y'all feel free, man. Leviticus 20:13, it says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lied with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
22 and 8.
What moles are y'all killing? How many bodies of moles do you got on your belt? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. We got it, but we gotta be like that. It's facetious, but it's real.
Yeah, that's
why Yahweh Shai was pointing out to the scribes and Pharisees, like you, don't do don't do what they doing.
Yep.
Do as they say, but not as they do, because they say but do not. You see, this is why we gotta wait till the Lord establishes us. And that's when we're going to be sovereign, where we can implement and enforce these laws. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked right now. So you can't do it if you wanted to.
Yeah, read it. Okay.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 8. When thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thy house, if any man fall from thence.
So that's another commandment. The elder Bishop Itazawam in Atlanta, I mean, he was bringing this out too. If you want to be so technical with the law, if you have a home, you're supposed to have a battlement upon the rooftop. And when you actually look up what a battlement is,
Right.
it's kind of like it's like the walls of a roof, like a castle.
Yep.
Like when you look at those like
That's
Excalibur
what
and
yeah.
the
Right.
old
Yeah,
movies, you see them standing in those little towers on the corners of the rooftops.
A section.
Go ahead.
It says parapet at the top of a wall, especially of a fort or castle
Mhm.
that has regularly spaced squared openings for shooting through.
Yep.
Kind
So they're up tall, but then they come low,
Mm-hmm.
where you can look
Yeah.
out or read
Look
or
out.
shoot out. Or, yep.
Mm-hmm.
That flat roof too.
Yep. And that shows you. And even when Peter was on the roof, like they just show you how they use the roof as that type of situation. You know, where they always was able to go up there. You know.
That's the battlement of the roof. This is a commandment right here.
You're supposed to have it.
Supposed to have that on your house.
So all you Israelites out there, how many of y'all got that on the top of y'all roofs? You know, if you live in an apartment complex, just don't even talk about it, man.
Your landlord gonna be looking at you crazy. You're gonna get evicted.
Okay.
You know?
What you doing building over there? I gotta put a battlement on my roof, man.
What? Like, oh, man.
Get out.
You can't even do that in with communities. HOA will be on you.
Yeah,
man.
just
Yeah.
You know.
How was it? I know one. I know they ain't keeping this. Go to Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter.
That's you.
Yeah.
Go to Deuteronomy 25.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 25.
Yeah.
And 5? No, it's not.
Yeah, start at 5.
It's Deuteronomy 25 and 5. If brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife,
Right.
and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her.
So I'm sure there's men in these other camps that have, siblings, brothers that may have came into the truth with them. How many of them are willing to, if your brother dies, but he didn't have a child, he didn't have no seed, how many of them would be willing to take that man's wife and continue his legacy? That's in the law. How many men out there will be willing to do that? Your brother just passed, and his wife, he never got a chance to see his wife up. Now you got to take her, and she has to be your wife now.
Take care of her.
You got to take care of her. You know what I mean?
People are gonna look at you like
People gonna be like, "What the fuck,
This nigga messing with his brother.
dude? That was
Just messing with
your
friend.
brother's woman. What the,
Yeah,
you know?
The world ain't gonna let
that's something this society wouldn't be able to
They
understand.
wouldn't be able to understand that. I guarantee you, some Israelites,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like how they can't get with the rape. I got it.
Yeah.
The grape
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
They can't even get over that. You know? But you desiring to be teachers of the law and don't even understand what you're a part of.
These guys don't even know what the covenant is, man.
Mhm.
They're supposed to have the Ark of the Covenant, the Levites.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going out.
Turn this 6. And if it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because he has to leave a legacy behind him. Well, if he's not here to do that, then that's where you rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Because you're his brother. Y'all share the same lineage.
Same, scientifically, same DNA, pretty much.
Fine.
You know.
Yeah.
And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, Then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refuses to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel.
So the woman,
Yeah.
you know, for the sisters,
Yeah.
if you was ever put in this scenario where, you know, your husband passed and he didn't get a chance to impregnate you, but he has a brother and he's in the truth, guess what? If he he doesn't want to take you as a husband, take you for his wife, you got to go and snitch.
Yeah.
You got to go and snitch on this nigga. Like, hey, he doesn't want to raise legacy to his brother. He doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want to, you know, marry me. She got to go and tell all the elders this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, this continues. It says, my husband's brother refuses to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother.
And you can't be emotional about it, but she ain't. She got the muffin top. I'm really into that.
Right.
That don't turn me.
She ain't my type.
Yeah. It don't matter.
You can't say that.
It don't matter.
The law is the law.
You gotta do it.
Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come up unto him.
He's trying to say, it ain't my type. I like not to do that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't too bad.
Come unto him in the presence of the elders and loose his shoe from off his foot and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man.
Now would a man take a woman spitting in his face?
That's what.
But that's
gives to her.
She can do that.
Yeah.
She's allowed to do that according to the law because you refuse to give her that honor for the sake of her husband that passed.
Yep.
Because you doing that, she can not only tell the elders of Israel what you're not doing, which is dishonorable, but also she can spit in your face.
Man.
She can assault you for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most men, you're not taking that. You're not allowing nobody to just spit in your face.
How many men came into this thing for the rule over their women finally, you know, to get power, the head of the household back, you know?
Hmm.
So you really gonna allow your wife to spit in your face? Or not even, that ain't your wife. That's your brother's wife. It's your sister-in-law.
Hmm.
To spit in your face?
Loose your shoe from off your foot and then spit on you.
Man. Look, I'm over here mad at you know, they can't deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And but you talk about humiliation.
Right.
It says, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house.
Mm-hmm.
And his name shall be called in Israel, and the house of him that hath his shoe loose. Yep.
Oh, read 11:2. There's another one.
When men strive together one with another, and the wife of one draweth near, for to her, it's like for to deliver her husband.
So you got a scenario where you have two men in a scrap. They get their scrap on, right?
Yep. She do anything like far as jumping in.
She can't jump in.
Yep.
In this society, that's all you see.
You see that all the time.
That's my ride and die bitch right here. You know what I'm saying? The dude piecing your man up, he whooping your man's ass, and you hop right in there and you know kick him in his nuts, or you try to go over there and you start piecing him. You know, get off my husband, grabbing him and shit.
That happened recently with I guess Jake was getting whooped and this woman came out there with a bat.
Yeah.
And you know started swinging, getting niggas off of him, but she supposed to be put to death.
Right. How many of you men in the truth, if you got into a altercation with a dude and the dude was getting the best of you and your woman was happened to be right there, how many of you are gonna get upset or angry if she doesn't step in?
Right.
Just emotional. You know, just hot headed. Like, what, you know, naturally a dude be like, man, what the fuck was you doing, man? Let that nigga on. Could have did something, I'm saying I would have been. No, because she be in danger.
Yeah.
You know, she now you allow her to step in on your behalf. She finna get both of y'all hurt. Either that, or if she do step in and you end up getting the advantage over the dude now because she stepped in and helped you, well now she gotta lose a freaking limb. This is right here in the law.
Now she
Hold on. Finish the verse. Who's reading? Finish the verse, bro.
Yeah, bro. Okay.
11 and 12.
And the wife of the one draws near for to her deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and putteth forth her hand and taketh him by the secret.
She grabbed his nuts. Go ahead.
Then thou shalt cut off her hand. Thine eyes shall not pity her.
So you as the husband, you got to cut your wife's.
Yeah.
You got to cut her hand off.
Still be with her.
Yeah. Now you got to be with her the rest of your life. Handicap.
You getting your ass whooped, and now she.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
These laws is cold, man.
Bro. So we'd be done if we was held to this. Man. Cause I don't know, you know, I'm gonna be real. Like if I was in a situation and you know, my woman is right there, I don't want her to get into things. You know, I don't want her to get into those situations. But you can't lie and say that you don't have that thought. Like,
like,
yo,
like, lose,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do something.
But according to the law, it's like, no, you gotta put your emotions aside. Like, no, you ain't got nothing to do with this. This is how. Hey, this is warfare between men. That's pretty much what that is. This is basically staying in a woman's position.
Yeah.
Women in this society, they stomping dudes out. You know what I'm saying? Hitting dudes with bats and weapons and shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even supposed to lift a finger at a man. So a lot of these women would be put to death too.
There's women that want to fight men and shit.
God.
I appreciate
I
that.
got something else to do too.
This is first.
And it's like RC Lady, if you can, Bubba Kusha. You know, you feel free to ask certain questions if you're trying to be edified. But as far as like just making random comments and, you know, precepts or whatever, basically for the lady, for the women, you're supposed to just keep silence and let the brothers deal. But let me see what her question. It says also women can't help even if our husband is losing. We gotta watch our husband get beat down or worse. Well, the law just said what it said.
Yeah.
If you go and grab his nutsack, the other dude that's getting the better end of your husband, if you go and grab his nutsack, according to this law, you get your hand cut off. You interfere in any kind of way, this is the penalty.
You gotta watch that.
And that's why we're making a point.
You can't. Yeah.
You can't keep all the law right now. We can't keep it perfectly. So dudes are being hypocrites for trying to act like, you know, your righteousness is of the law.
Right.
When none of us are able to keep these laws. All right. Time.
I have something. 1 Corinthians 6 and 12. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but
and that's talking about in this society now. You know, some things you would want to execute because it's the right thing to do according to the law, but you can't. It's just not wise to do
It's
it.
not wise.
but I will not be brought under the power of any.
That's it. Yeah, because that's another thing on the flip side. There's certain things that we can do that's lawful. But if you consider it and you, like for example, you know, we you know, it's lawful that a man can have more than one wife. But would that be profitable? Would it be expedient in this time? Now, certain brothers can handle that, but not every brother can. It depends on your circumstance. But if you, especially like if you're a bishop, if you're an elder, and you have which you're given a duty, you're given a task, you got to oversee the church. You got work to do, so you don't really have time to you know, manage and take care of, you know, a bunch of women. That's going to come later in the kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? So there are certain things that are lawful, but sometimes it's not expedient to do. You can drink wine. You can drink your yan. You can drink strong drink, but we're supposed to do it in moderation.
Don't be gluttonous.
Don't be gluttonous, man. It becomes sinful when you do it in excess.
It means like pretty much all buffets are out.
God.
Not even the contamination part, just the overeating part. Look at that one, the brother posted right now, Luke 16.
Oh yeah, that's another one too. Joshua 144, Luke 16 and 18. Whosoever putteth away his wife and marrieth another committed adultery. We all guilty.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't close the book on that. Like, yeah,
everybody.
We finished.
If you deal with a woman at all, it's a wrap.
I don't think any of us have been. Well, I'm not gonna speak for every brother, but I don't think any brother on the comment board or in this room has dealt with a woman who was pure and untouched when we got with him.
And remain that way all the way through the truth. It's still with you.
Right.
You know? That's the real point of it. That she remained with you. Hey, if your woman is arguing with you and causing you headaches all the time, you gotta keep that woman.
Yeah. You can separate from her for a period of time if she's getting on your head, getting on your nerves or whatever.
But what do we see these TikToks and whatever else happening when that separation? Well, we wasn't together. Yes, y'all was.
Right.
That don't clean it up.
Like fucking Will and
exactly.
When I had that entanglement, me and Will, we were separated at the time. We wasn't really. You still married to that man. You still had that man's name.
Yep.
That man is still alive. The scriptures say that in Romans, as long as the man is alive, he has dominion over her.
Right.
She's bound to that man under the law, man.
Unless she committed adultery, and then she should be put to death.
Yeah.
That you talk about women. That you lucky. That ain't the.
Oh, these women, they.
Whew. But what about
women, man?
What they gonna say? As soon as we say that, what about if a man sleep with that? It's different.
It's different.
Into another man on it. But by the just of the law, it has to be a virgin.
Yep.
You can only continually get with virgins. And how wrong is that in this society to find a virgin? You know how young these girls is letting the thing go down?
As soon as they hit puberty,
they ain't got no control over that.
It's already going down.
I gotta appreciate the back of the brother real quick.
Well, let me finish that. The precept, and then you can back it up. It says, and whosoever married her that is put away from her husband committed adultery. Doesn't want to finish that out.
I got Matthew 5:28. How shy. But I say unto you that whomsoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Yeah. So when you watch. If you go to the strip club and the chick is, the fact that you're going in there and any of them chicks have ever slept with a man, it's adultery. Boom, you're done. You're done.
You see a chick walking in a mall or something,
and them yams is popping and bouncing and done.
And that's the standard attire of the average American woman. Dressed like a straight tie. Like you got to show your body, your curves, what you working with. Your hips, your thighs, you gotta show all that.
All them pretty parts.
And you already know what you're doing when you're stepping out with that attire. So you just willfully being a stumbling block to men. That's what makes your day. Is being a stumbling block to the souls of men. Now, when Yahushua said that, it didn't mean necessarily that you can't look upon a woman.
Right.
It's talking about if you look upon a married woman, and those thoughts start to hit you.
Damn, I like to hit that. You going off.
You already going off. You know she's spoken for.
Yep.
See, some of us we can't help it if we see women that's out and about and they happen to not be with a man or there's no presence of a man around them.
Right.
So in your mind you assume, all right, well, I don't think she's married. A man ain't with her. So you looking at her like, okay, if she ain't taken, I'll deal with that.
But what did the brother say? But in the ancient world, with our customs, they dressed a certain way.
They dressed appropriately.
So we knew not to look.
We dressed with modesty.
Exactly. And proof that works. Hey, because it's always our women, they try to bring up that excuse. Oh well, it don't matter what you dressed in. Men go always, come up to you and all this. Well, why don't you ever see Jake macking on Muslim women?
Thank you.
They've done what they call those when they do those experiments, social experiments.
Yeah.
Well, a woman, she put on some jeans and then take a camera with her. And you see dudes, all over. And then she went and put on a hijab,
right?
And then walked around and noticed nobody paid her no money.
Hey,
but that's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to be.
I remember that. Right. Yeah, because the woman was nice looking, but as soon as she took it off, or she didn't have it on, men was all Jake was all over.
Yeah.
It would think she was in New York City.
Because Jake see that.
All through a flame.
Yeah, Jake see that, and you know they don't even pay attention to it, man.
Right.
So it is true.
Yeah. That's why it's wise and it's written in our law that you're supposed to be covered up.
Yep.
I got something real quick.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Ark of the Covenant earlier. This is Deuteronomy 31 and 9. And Moses wrote this law and delivered it unto the priests of the sons of Levi, which bear the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, and to all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, the Feast of Tabernacles, when all Israel is come to appear before the Lord thy power in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. And I brought that out just to, say this, you don't have the Ark of the Covenant, you guys that, always harping on the law, the high priest, chief high priest, you labeling yourself that you don't know what the Ark of the Covenant is. And this is the prophecy on what the Ark of the Covenant is, but we don't know that Yahweh Shai has to, come back.
Yeah.
2 Maccabees 2 and 4. It was also contained in the same writing that the prophet, being warned of the Most High, commanded the tabernacle and the ark to go with him, and he went forth into the mountain where Moses climbed up and saw the heritage of the Most High Yahweh. And when Jeremy came thither, he found a hollow cave wherein he laid the tabernacle and the ark and the altar of the incense, and so stopped the door. And some of those that followed him came to mark the way, but they could not find it. Which, when Jeremy perceived, he blamed them, saying, as for that place, it shall be unknown until the time that the Most High shall gather his people again together and receive them unto mercy.
I got one.
And that mercy gonna come in the form of Yahweh Shai, man, coming back, man.
Yep.
So, you guys can keep the full law, man, in its entirety, man.
Yep.
I got one right quick. This one is a tough one because our parents, how do you come into this thing and you don't have control the way this is set up? And this is actually in Leviticus 12. If y'all remember what that's about the
dietary law.
No, because it don't say it that way. But you have to the circumcision of your sons on the 8th day.
Oh, about the children being born and the uncleanness of the woman after the baby.
All of that's written right there.
Yeah.
So how you gonna perform? Are y'all priests of the Lord and you have that? Like, come on, man, you gotta perform this. The standard of performing the law is such a high standard that not everybody can just keep that, man. So that's why it's more of a spiritual thing now than as much of a literal. Now, do we still, on like the Passover? Yeah, certain things that you can't do.
Whatever you can keep.
Yeah, you do. But what you can't, like this one says, I get to the point. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 2, it says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation for her infirmity, shall she be unclean." How's she gonna hand you the baby? You see how technical this becomes, right? It says, but if there were other women helping to nurture the baby, that makes sense, right? Anyway, it says, and in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised, right? And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. But as a man, what do you have to do? every Shabbat. You gotta go in there and hold a Sabbath service, man. So you born a man child, and you can't even keep that no more. You know, if you're helping nurse the baby, you know, if you don't have handmaids or whatever to help your wife.
Yeah.
These things become unreasonable, bro. Like in this society, this thing becomes unreasonable. And I'm trying to look further down where it was at. Look. Verse 7.
Somebody in Deuteronomy 13.
Verse 7 said, who shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that have born a male or female. And I skipped over the female because it's even longer you gotta wait that she's unclean, right? It says
almost 3 months.
Yeah. Right? It says, and if she be not able to bring a lamb, and look, you talk about that $1,000 lamb, you gotta bring a lamb, then she shall bring two turtles or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering and the other for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean. Meaning he still had to clean himself to even accept her uncleanness to atone for.
Yeah. You know, the priest always had to be clean and pure.
And that's why Hebrews 7 has said that he needed not to be cleansed of his own sin, talking about Yahushua, as did all the other priests of the Levites did, according to the law.
That was a holy place, man. You go into the Holy of Holies, that's like the presence of the Lord is there.
You can't be unclean.
You can't be unclean at all. That's why when the Lord appeared upon the mountain, when Moses went up there to receive the law, he told Moses to tell the people basically, don't come at your wives for 3 days because the grounds is gonna be holy ground.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So the priest, you have to be ultra clean, and then and also when you kept the Sabbath, you have to keep it hallowed.
Yeah.
That means that you got to be clean on the Sabbath day.
Right.
You know. And that was a custom among us where we actually purified ourselves and cleaned ourselves the night before.
That's right.
How many of them know that? When you got certain Israelites that'll tell you where your fringe is, but then they're telling you can have sex on the Sabbath.
Yep.
You can actually make yourself unclean on a holy day.
Yeah, it's good.
You know what I'm saying? So you're dishonoring the Most High, boasting the law by breaking the law.
We said that to IUIC years ago, man.
Huh.
It's hypocritical, man. It's having the people to keep a standard that you can't even keep yourself.
Huh. Yep.
You call for something?
Yeah, Deuteronomy 13 and start at 6.
Okay. This is Deuteronomy 13:6. It says, if thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul.
Everybody that's close to you.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods.
Hey, so one of your kids, your wife, whoever, they come and hand you a pamphlet, a little pamphlet. You know, it says praise to Allah, and then you see the crescent moon symbol. With,
what's that one? Not the final call. What's that other?
I forget the.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Booklet that they
little booklet.
Yeah.
They come over there and try to hand you once you come over to the mosque and you know what I'm saying?
I think it's not 7 Day Adventist. What's that other group?
You talking about the Watchtower?
The Watchtower was
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness. There you go. Yeah,
they hand you the little Watchtower pamphlet.
Yeah.
So if one of your relatives come and hand you that, they try to get you to come and serve the God that they serve.
Yeah.
This is what the law is telling you to do about that.
Yeah.
How many of them is willing to do this?
You're gonna be like, wait, you've been over there? You've been over there looking at this?
That's
already.
Some of these Hebrew Israelite group dialogue with them.
Yeah.
Saw Netter.
There you go.
The House and Conscience community.
There you go.
All type of idolatry through that so-called community.
That's a channel for
and you rubbing elbows, you eating with these people.
Going to award shows.
You won the award from one of them.
Hey, you were having, I don't know, like my other said, idol.
Yeah.
But they gave you a statue.
And I'm pretty sure that's on your mantle, in your house, somewhere. You're supposed to destroy that.
Yeah.
I got the newcomer of the conscious community of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know what the award was.
If you're not serving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you're not serving the Most High, you serve another God.
Yeah.
Them dudes, they serve another God. They don't serve our Lord. That's why they're constantly bucking up against it. But you actually cool with these people. You got a complete relationship with these said people. When your law says, see, at least under this the new agreement, under the truth, you don't kill them, but don't be unequally yoked with them.
Right.
Just stay separated from them. Let the Lord deal if they don't repent. But under this, you're supposed to put their ass down.
No, that even means going deeper into how things are today. If you receive any text from them family members on them holidays, you're supposed to do the same thing.
You're supposed to slide over.
Yeah, you're supposed to go over there, bro.
But they got the Christmas tree
Yeah.
decked out. They got the presents up under there.
God, if they send you
All those pagan, Egyptian, Babylonian symbols all over the house and shit.
Yeah. Crucifix.
Nice.
You're supposed to put them down, and you're supposed to destroy,
Burn all that up.
burn all that shit.
And even if they send you them Happy Curse Day text, bro, you're supposed to do the same thing.
Hey, but let me say this though, so we don't want to
Right, kind.
simple minds, because some of you people, what y'all be thinking.
Yeah, this
We're
is-
not saying that you do
This
this.
is extremism.
Yeah, we're not
Can't forget
saying
this
that
is
you do
extreme.
this. You do not do this, particularly in this society. You do
This is
not
what
do
Esau
that.
would consider domestic terrorism.
Yeah, you can't do that. We're just showing you that if we were trying to keep this law in our captivity to this degree, this is the extremism that you have to go to. So don't be all bugged out trying to edit this and be like, look, see that. No, we're not saying that. We're literally telling you.
We're going into
Can't
the
keep
harshness.
Right.
The
It's,
harshness of the
so
law.
extreme.
The law is very harsh, man.
Yeah, and it's just
Hey,
strict.
you remember when the apostles, they did a series called The Nastiness of the Scriptures?
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah,
Go into this, man.
yeah,
The world would condemn you for believing this,
yeah.
you know? Yeah, man. There's more. There's some more. Keep reading.
It says,
We know they ain't keeping this.
verse 6, it says, if thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou know thy fathers,
Mm-hmm.
namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee,
Mm-hmm.
from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
The text message.
Thou shalt not.
There shall have no other God before me. That's the first commandment. Go ahead.
Says, thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him. Neither shall thine eye pity him.
Don't have no compassion.
Says, neither shall
And this is
thy
supposed to be a close kin.
Yeah.
You know,
family.
this is talking about your own flesh and blood here. If your brother, your mother, your daughter, your wife, your son, like it just listed all these people. So don't even pity, you know, because Jake get caught. Jake being a feelings, emotion. Jake don't know how to separate the emotions when they read these laws. See, the Most High, and this is what the Lord meant by when He said, "Your ways are not my ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your ways my ways."
My ways are higher than their ways.
You know, Jake don't really understand, man. Go ahead.
Says, thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him.
Don't even try to hide him. You know?
You gotta snitch.
Yeah.
Hey, snitching is in. Hey, because a lot of times you look up and it say to bring him. Hey, if you got a badass kid,
Yeah.
So
And
bring
you
him out.
You gotta bring him out.
Bring
You
him
gotta
out
go
to the-
Smith
to
in
the
the
elders of
hole,
the
and
city.
everybody getting up on him, man.
You gotta
You
slow
can't be
his
like, no,
ass.
it's okay. It ain't like that, man. You gotta bring him out there and take him out.
Rebellious son.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Says, but thou shalt surely kill him.
And a lot of these punishments were public.
Yeah,
And you had to be seen in public doing this.
yeah. You have to be seen.
You had to be out there.
That's why the scripture say, rebuke before all, so that others may fear.
Exactly. But they know that this is not the way that you conduct yourself inside this nation. That's how close of a people we were. That's why when you look at Jake's neighborhoods, man, you know, in these inner cities, how they were 60s, 70s, you know, 50s, till like crack and all that really came. Our neighborhoods was tight, man, super tight. But we knew everybody, and that's why a neighbor will whoop your kid. You know, that's why you get whooped out the whole way home, 3 houses down. You got whooped 3 times when you got home.
That's why they say it took a village to raise a child.
Because everybody got to keep their eyes and make sure that kid is walking straight. And that's for every kid. Everybody's watching everybody. That's the purpose of the fringes. So everybody's got their eyes because you are your brother's keeper. So, you know, to make sure, hey, don't do that, bro.
Yeah,
When you fuck up.
rebuke your neighbor, man.
Yeah.
Not suffer sin upon him. That's the law.
That's
It's supposed to cuss you out so that you don't draw, be drawn to death.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I can't see it.
And I'm, trying to see what this brother's trying to say. Servant of Yahweh. Do you have an alt, brother? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Because and there's a lot of people get it misconstrued.
Right.
We're not saying that don't keep the law because you can't. We're saying that if we,
You can't condemn
I don't know how many times we got to reiterate this, but you're not supposed to burden or place the whole law, the burden of the law upon another brother when you can't do it yourself.
Right.
Because no man is justified by the law in the sight of the Most High.
Yeah.
We're justified by faith. We're just going into the technicality of the law since guys are trying to judge men based off the technicality of the law. That's all we're doing.
We're just showing you it's absurd in this captivity to live by the letters of the law. And because we read earlier, if you break one, you break them all. And and that's the point of Yahweh Shai, that he's the only one that can do it perfectly. Everybody else is guilty of death and worthy of death. Should I say it that way? Guilty of breaking the law.
Not you are my brothers. No, you're my brothers. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. Done. I was just trying to, figure out, like
which angle was.
Yeah. What I just just listen. Matter of fact, we're gonna read a few more and then we'll close out anyway. We kind of, rushing up on time. I think that what verse did you leave off at?
Verse 9.
9. Go ahead.
It says, verse 9, but thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people.
And that's crazy because a lot of people closest to you, you got to be the first to do it. A lot of people like, what do you expect really happened? What do we, hypothesize, should I say, what actually happened? People act like they didn't see it, so they wouldn't have to be the first to put, put that person down.
Yeah.
It said right there, you're supposed to be the first to cast the first stone on that person if you catch them in the midst of something going off in the law.
Yep.
Who you really want to convict your mom or something because she went in the bathroom and you heard her through the door or something? Yeah, especially your own children.
It says that there should be no what is it? Whores. What's the word?
Yeah. There should be no whores of the daughters
the daughters of Aaron
of Zion. Period.
Zion, period.
Yeah. The priests.
Yeah.
If your daughter is a whore, you got to burn her with fire.
Ain't nobody doing that.
No.
I'm pretty sure some of them men may have daughters that.
Alazar, he damn sure ain't gonna do nothing like that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be expedient anyway in this captivity. Just showing the harshness of the laws. You got it, bro.
It says, thou shalt stone him with stones that he die, because he had sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. from the house of bondage, and all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you.
Yeah, it is.
I was gonna say this. Think about if we was in this society now that we had a truth and we went out to try to execute the law. You know how many people we'd be mass murderers, bro.
Yeah.
They be trying to put us to death.
They would have to. They would have to. That's why only Yahweh Shai is gonna be able to take all these people out. Because all the wicked people like that out. That's not of the elect, particularly talking about our nation, and let the missiles catch like different avenues of death is gonna have to take these people out. There's so many that are just going off. We would never be able to execute this. We never get wickedness off the planet if the people on earth would have to execute it, knowing that we're guilty ourselves. So how can we say that we're able to do it? And that's why you made that point about first take the mote out of thine own eye before you the beam out of thine own eye, then you can see the mote that is in thy brother's eye. So how can we judge you to that degree when we can't? And that's pretty much the point. How can we judge you when we can't even keep it perfect?
Yeah.
And even Yahweh Shai said, I came not to, was that John the 3rd chapter? He came not to condemn. It's in John the 3rd chapter. But basically, he understood. That's why he didn't judge the woman that was taken in adultery.
Yep.
He knew that we were in need of that grace, the salvation, the mercy. He knew that we were in need of it, man.
We were mentioning the way that it matters. It was judgment, mercy, and faith.
Yep. Now, hey, real quick, referring back to that law we was just reading in Deuteronomy 13, we don't know who broke that law, and that's why he ended up getting put to death. Eli. Going back to Samuel. The priest had the two sons. He restrained himself. He didn't, punish them. He didn't put him down like the law said.
Yep.
So the Lord ended up putting his sons to death, and then ended up putting him to death.
Right. Yep.
It's crazy. It's always in the scripture. It's always two sons that are just niggas.
Yeah.
Didn't Samuel have two sons that was niggas?
Samuel? No, not Samuel.
No, it was Eli.
It was like, okay.
Yeah. No, somebody
That's
else
what
was talking about.
Then we brought up Aaron, his two sons, because the scripture say was that it's like Numbers 26 or 27. It says they offered fire unto another
incense.
another god.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Hey, if it was according to the law, man, hey, we're guilty. That's why Yahweh Shai, that was the most important thing, needed for Israel. All right, there was no way we was gonna be able to be reconciled back to the Father if the Lord didn't make a better covenant for us. All right,
We'd be going through this cycle forever if he didn't change the odds for us.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if y'all had any, because I think the point was already made.
Yeah.
And we just scratched the surface, man.
If we get half of them laws.
That wouldn't even
we didn't even get maybe 15 or 10 maybe.
Yeah.
I got one closeout scripture.
Good.
Matthew 1:21.
Yep.
And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahweh Shai, for he shall save his people from their sins. That's it, man.
Yeah.
It is. We needed to be saved from our sins, man. All right. So Yahweh Shai, he had a purpose. If you saying anything otherwise than what his purpose was, then you're saying that Yahweh Shai wasn't special. You're saying that he, and this was all according to the will of the Father from the beginning. The prophet spoke on it. The law spoke on it. He was coming. This is what he was coming to do. So if your angle is the Pharisee angle, then hey, play you a lot. You coming back in your lot, man. And Yahweh Shai has pretty much become a stumbling block to you. All right. So hey, call Lord Yahweh Shai, that we have Yahweh Shai, man.
Right.
And then the Lord's he's gonna redeem us, and then we're gonna be changed, and we ain't even gotta have this talk no more, man.
Oh,
It said, all shall know me from the least to the greatest. So hey, that was pretty much it. We're gonna close out. We're gonna give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash, the ones to the elder apostles, the great millstone who are well, peace and salutation to the elect, the water to all Yuakim and Yuakwaf, tuned in, the water for the precepts. We hope y'all were edified. Until next time, we say Shalom.
So